Imagine a world where humans and apes could merge into one creature, a so-called superhuman. This isn't the plot of a sci-fi movie. It's a real scientific experiment conducted in the early 20th century. Welcome to the story of Sergei Voronov, the man who dreamed of hybridizing humans and monkeys, and how this bizarre quest spiraled out of control. To understand Sergei Voronov's experiments, we need to go back to the early 1900s, a time when scientific breakthroughs were transforming medicine, but ethical boundaries were often ignored. Voronov, a French-Russian surgeon, believed he could defy nature by merging the best traits of humans and animals. Born in 1866 in Russia, Voronov studied medicine in France under the famous surgeon Alexis Carrel. He was fascinated by organ transplantation, an emerging field at the time. But his ambitions didn't stop at curing diseases. Voronov wanted to enhance human capabilities, believing that the vitality of youth could be restored through unusual means. Inspired by his work in transplantation and his studies on animals, Voronov developed a radical theory. He believed that by grafting the reproductive glands of animals, specifically monkeys, onto humans, he could rejuvenate aging individuals. He even claimed this process could boost intelligence, strength, and longevity. At the heart of Voronov's experiments was a controversial idea. Monkeys, our evolutionary cousins, held the secret to human improvement. And so, he set out to bridge the gap between species, starting with gland grafts and later exploring the possibility of creating hybrids. Voronov began by performing gland transplants on sheep and goats. The results, he claimed, were promising. Animals appeared more energetic and youthful. Encouraged, he moved on to humans, conducting gland transplant surgeries on wealthy men seeking the fountain of youth. Surprisingly, many patients reported increased vigor, though this was likely due to placebo effects. But Voronov wasn't satisfied. He wanted to go further. His next step? Attempting to create a hybrid. A creature that combined the intelligence of Voronov traveled to Africa, collecting monkeys and apes for his experiments. He implanted monkey testicular tissue into human male subjects, hoping it would merge with their biology. He even considered artificially inseminating female monkeys with human sperm, theorizing it could result in a viable hybrid offspring. Despite his confidence, the results were, unsurprisingly, a failure. No hybrid creatures were ever born, and the surgeries often led to complications. But Voronov's reputation didn't suffer immediately. In fact, during the 1920s, he became a celebrity scientist, hailed by some as a genius, and by others as a madman. Voronov's work sparked intense public interest. Newspapers praised his experiments, calling him a visionary who could reverse aging. Wealthy men lined up to receive gland grafts, and his fame grew across Europe and the United States. But not everyone was impressed. Many scientists criticized Voronov, arguing that his experiments lacked proper scientific rigor. Religious leaders condemned his work as unnatural and unethical, while skeptics mocked the idea of human-ape hybrids. By the 1930s, the scientific community began to distance itself from Voronov. His experiments failed to produce consistent results, and the medical community questioned his claims of rejuvenation. Without solid evidence, his reputation crumbled,